I'm writing this, not just for your benefit, but for mine. And if I personally gave you this book, I'd probably say that we had the same hustle and ambition and some of the same goals. This is a collection of poems, raps, words of wisdom, quotes and suggestions that have inspired me during my incarceration, and I hope it inspires whoever reads it. This anthology reflects some of the goals that I aspire to achieve, some of the paths that I plan to take to reach these goals, and some of the basic instructions on pursuing those opportunities. This book also reflects the mistakes that have brought me down and some of the thinking habits that I need to stay away from. My hope is that you can use this book as a guide or motivation for alternative choices in life. If you're comfortable with your life in the streets, then this may not be the book for you. But if anybody who knows that they are ready for change, read on. I understand if you don't plan on changing, but I'll tell you this, the dope game is about to change for the worse. I might not be a psychic or a prophet, but I can see that cash is going away and it's gonna make it easier for dope boys to go to prison. The drugs are getting stronger, the money's getting quicker, the time is getting longer and the crimes are getting sicker. How will you move work when they document every transaction and have cameras on your every move? The street life is designed to leave you undereducated and underprepared for society, so that you will be a more effective slave. We have to pursue some kind of higher understanding and higher education. I say we a lot because my goal is to build a network of like-minded people who wanna connect for common cause. If you are with me, we will build an international network of ex-hustlers that own businesses, stocks, commodities, real estate, intellectual properties, anything else that we can better our lives in our community. We will build each other up, and I will be no less than another fall while they're still trying to climb. This is what I will be spending the rest of my life building, and if you wanna participate, then you can join me. We will be free from the trap. This is a product of my pain, product of my pain. This is a product of my pain. Forget the Chevy on them things, I got it with my pain. If I got ice in my chain, I got it with my pain. This is a product of my pain, product of my pain. This is a product of my pain. Like I ain't got nothing to lose, a lot of stuff to gain. Like I ain't got nothing to lose, a lot of stuff to gain. No, I ain't have it easy, I ain't had no pops to teach me. I ain't had a lot of freebies, I got locked up in the streets and got left in that CDC. Did nobody come to see me? Oh, I see how y'all gon' treat me. All I had was potential without all the tools to reach it. So I'm out here trying to grab it, that's what make it hard to reach me. I'm gone, trying to find out what can please me. All I have is these losses to learn from, that's what leaves me. Let myself to a couple OZs, I felt like Jeezy. Couple G's on me and I feel like I'm Gucci. Couple freestyles and I feel like Louise, cause I can't eat all these rappers on MTV. This my art.
None of us are free, yeah. None of us are free, 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 none of us are free.
Yo, ain't none of us are free. We all blinded by what we see, deafened from what we hear and ignorant from what we read. Thinking that since that's what they feed us, then that's what we need. And I am what I eat, so that must be me. The world was so mysterious when we would just be weeds. I didn't take it serious, I watched too much TV. Way before the internet, there were just CDs. I didn't understand the lyrics, but I love the beats. Armed and dangerous was words that all of us repeat. Street dreams are made to eat, so I must be sleep. But I can awaken my dreams if I can touch these keys and break them down, so know that I can duck police. I'm not selling no ounces, I'm just hustling G's. Stacking my cheese, all I need is enough to eat. Until this world start crushing me, why must I bleed? These haters trying to catch up to me, trying to cut my lead. My desires start rushing me, why must I speed? Now the police are busting me, why must I plead? All I needed was the faith of a mustard seed. But I can't have faith when all I ever trust is me. And the only thing I ever knew was lust and greed. Till the court say the word for my destructive deeds, just to let my seed do the same stuff as me. Thinking they free, trapped in the clutches of the street. Yeah, yeah. None of us are free, yeah, none of us are free, 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 yeah. Hey. Alright.
keep it real, I never was a kingpin or even a big drug dealer. I'm just somebody from the hood who never really saw the examples that he needed to. That's the only excuse I have for my mistakes. I never met a doctor, lawyer, or stockbroker. I barely even seen successful families other than on TV. So they made it look like a fantasy to me. What I did see was successful drug dealers with the things that I thought I wanted in life. These are the only people that looked like me that were getting somewhere, at least that's what I thought. I didn't have anybody really to guide me out of that mentality. But I was still smart enough not to get fully involved in the street selling drugs. Something about me always knew it was a trap. And plus my grandmother would have been heartbroken to see me standing on the corner. So I only dabbled in the game from the sideline at first. Everybody said I was smart, but smart wasn't putting rims on my car, Jordans on my feet. This is what my teenage mind thought was important. So I started pulling capers at the age of 15. By 16 I had been to juvenile holding, had been on probation and was still broke. I had a job, but that wasn't enough for me. I was too young to know how to manage money. Everybody around me was broke, so I never seen them deal with money to know what to do with it. This was around the time I met my friend AJ. He worked at the restaurant with me, but he was also a small-time hustler. He had rims on his Oldsmobile and had the girls.
I want you to feel what's happening. That's why I won't deal in the trap again. I want you to feel what's happening. That's why I won't deal in the trap again. It started out like any other day on the calendar. I took on life challenges by racing in the Challenger. I saw the line between good and evil and I balanced it like a tightrope walker. I thought I was talented. Went my job to generate food for our dinner place. Kept all of my business straight. Fed my family, then I ate. But the risk I tended to take, my life could end any day. I'm taking them anyway. Trapping on the interstate. Felt like I'm the best. I'm too good to get arrested. And I got connects, I can get what you requested. So I rubbed that Pyrex pot like it would grant my checklist. Not realizing what it almost did was grant my death wish. 5 o'clock, traffic on my belly, DMX shit. Police can't touch me, I go backwards up this exit. Then I got attention from the feds and the detectives. But I didn't stress it when I thought I could finesse it. Until I realized that I was already expected. Looked like somebody ratted, my circle was infested. But I am the one who confessed it by being restless. Wasn't patient enough to play the hand that the blessed get. I want you to feel what was happening. That's why I won't deal in the trap again. They gave me trafficking. They gave me trafficking.
This was about to be the longest time I'd ever been locked up. I had been in juvie in county before, but the most I'd done was about 3 weeks. I was facing 45 years, which would have ended up being at least 25. There'd be no probation or bonding out this time. My grandma, who usually got me out, was gone. I finally had to do the time for my crime. The one thing I think I learned from being locked up was that trying to take something from people for a living was stupid. Most of the guys that came through the county on robbery charges all crash dummies. I didn't want to be in that category with them. Most of us had pulled robberies that got us a whopping $200. Some had robbed gas stations, McDonald's, corner stores. I guess I got lucky that my gun didn't go off. It was aimed close enough to the Mexican's head for a freak accident to happen and blow his head out like what some of the other guys in county did. I was trying to maintain my innocence, so I didn't really talk about the details of my case in the county. I had convinced everybody else I was there for a fight gone wrong. I even started to believe it myself. I'm kinda glad I did, because it made me turn down my first plea, which was 10 years. I had to sit for about 8 months, but ended up getting a plea of 5 years probation, because apparently South Carolina didn't care about a black kid robbing a bunch of Mexicans as much as you think they would. But as soon as the judge slammed the gavel on my plea, a lady jumped up to the object, letting the judge know that I was already on probation for gun possession. And this was a new sentence, and that was a violation. This meant that I had to go to prison. I I ended up going to a program for violation of the Youthful Offender Act, or YOA. YOA sentence is 1 to 6 years, which means you do 1 year in prison and 5 on parole, if you make parole.
Slide. God bless my mistakes. I'm a child of the state. I'm a kid from the county. I grew up Section 8. I'm a man in the city of oppression and hate. I pray God walk with me every step that I take. God bless my mistakes. I'm a child of the state. I'm a kid from the county. I grew up Section 8. I'm a man in the city of oppression and hate. I pray God walk with me every step that I take. Hey, I need to know Jesus loved me with tattoos. I need to know he loved me even through my bad moves. That money make me go nuts, I go cashews. And God we trust on our money means that cash rules. Lord forgive me, I follow money like that shoe. Some of my cousins sold weed, I got grassroots. Fast money is how we eat, call it fast food. So bless me like a sneeze, I'm hollering at you like I got a cold, cause this world is cold and lonely. Some of my friends' mama slept with all of our homies, just so they could get stoned when their money's gone. And that'll make a youngster feel like he's something wrong. So by the time he grown, expect for his mama's gone, cause he been told to the street he grown from his home. And the only thing he trusts is a gun that's chrome. And he won't talk to you himself, that's why I've done this song. Oh. I'm a child of the state. I'm a kid from the county. I grew up Section 8. I'm a man in the city of oppression and hate. I pray God walk with me every step that I take. God bless my mistakes. I'm a child of the state. I'm a kid from the county. I grew up Section 8. I'm a man in the city of oppression and hate. I pray God walk with me every step that I take. Hey, I take, hey. I take.
County and prison are totally different. In county, there's fights with people from around town. Limited room and freedom. Plus, most people are stressed out about going to court or junkies coming off drugs. The number one thing people do in county is sleep. When you get to state prison, it's a lot of testosterone. Especially on the youth camp with a bunch of kids from all over the state trying to make a name for themselves. Knowing the most time they would end up doing is 4 years. Most of the time people are wrestling, slap boxing, or talking trash just to test the limit and see where the next man's mind and heart is. If you're weak, you'll end up being some kind of victim. If you show any kind of softness, you end up getting beat up so that somebody else can shine. Especially if you weren't from one of the big cities with a strong clique or in a gang. Everybody wanted to be known across the state for something. Sports, fighting, drawing. But I was happy to be able to rap. I learned how to put songs together from a rapper out of Anderson that called himself Nimrod. We clicked once we found out that I could rap. And my daddy was from Anderson.
Maybe if I stay up on my grind, maybe I can get signed. Maybe if I just read one more time, everything will be fine. Maybe if I mask up with the 9, I won't ever fall behind. Maybe my homeboy won't drop a dime and he'll just do the time. Yeah. Maybe I didn't have it easy. Maybe when I was young, my mama used to have seizures. Maybe that made me get on my knees and pray to Jesus. Please, Lord, help us right now, cause we don't need this. Maybe she couldn't work and we barely had what we needed. So ain't no way that I'm new clothes and sneakers. I had to borrow shoes and outfits from Demetrius. Maybe he did it so the other kids wouldn't tease me. Maybe he believed in me when nobody believed me. Maybe I believe in myself and started thieving. Maybe I started down the road not knowing where it's leading. I ain't never knew anybody with degrees succeeding. Maybe back then I know about the consequences. Maybe I wouldn't have ever got that gun from Quincy. Maybe I did, but it wasn't enough to convince me. Maybe I was too young to fight temptations that were tempting me. I don't know. If I stay up on my grind, maybe I can get signed. Maybe if I just read one more time, everything will be fine. Maybe if I mask up with the 9, I won't ever fall behind.
homeboy won't drop a dime, and he'll just do the time. My aunt's house was off a road called Sunnyside that basically connects a bunch of small hoods together. You have Victor Court, Greentown, Kudzu Court, Sunnydale, and the Church Street apartments all running in a Sunnyside drive. Plus, Sunnyside had a community store that was in the center of it all, which made it a haven for foot traffic. I had about a $50 flip from my old hood one day and decided to try my luck on Sunnyside. I gave a smoker named Worm a tester, so he took me to a woman's house named Angie, where he could smoke it and I could sell the rest of it. Angie's house was not the dirty crack house that I expected. Her house was a nice, clean duplex apartment. She did look like she did a little drugs, but she was clean and a fun person to be around, not the burnt out geek ones. What you got? She asked me casually after introducing herself. I showed her and she smoked some of what Worm had. The other smokers would hit the rock and sit there looking stuck for 3 minutes, picking at the carpet or swinging their jaw, not Angie. No matter how much she smoked, she kept on laughing and joking, talking about whatever came to her mind. Angie asked me a couple of questions about myself and told me I could hang out as long as I wanted. Her and a couple of people that were at her house had bought up what little dope I had. So I told her I would be back in a few days once I had some more. In a few days I came back like I promised, eager to get paid. This time when Angie opened the door, she jumped in my arms like I was her husband coming home from war. Now by street law I was supposed to get off of her and let her know to never do that again. But me being a thirsty teenager straight out of prison. You don't have a record deal, then go out and get one. But you're not going back on the block.
I sold so much dope, I almost sold my soul. Still caught up in the game, but who got the control? I know I run the streets like I ain't got no goals. Still caught up in the game, but who got the control? Still caught up in the game, but who got the control? Still caught up in the game, but who got the control? I can't find enough pages to write the days of my life, days of my nights. Minimum wage ain't paying the price of the cost of living. Almost lost my vision, God said we all forgiven. Why they shipping me off to prison? I must have crossed the ribbon. The law caught me slipping, the victim of my own cross addiction. Alcohol crossed with women who strong stuff's dripping. I crucify myself like the man hanging on your cross that's Christian. I paid the boss commission, parlayed the package prices. I made the sacrifices, gambling and I crapped the dices. And I ain't even get a chance to taste the appetizers, but I won't be satisfied until I get half the slices. I guess it's trap or die until they close my casket. I asked the God upstairs to come and get me on my last goodbye. This the game, I'm trapped inside. I rap about it, rapping fire. Half of it done happened to me, homie, I don't have to lie. Now Melody met me at a time when I was cold. I was lonely, hurt, and ready to win by any means necessary. I don't know if she knew that about me, if I was just that good at hiding it, but she accepted me anyway. I'm not going into details about the nature of how we got together because a lot of people disagree with it. All I know is that she is one of the best women I've ever met in my life. And she brought positivity, pride, and love into my life. She kept me from going all the way into the darkness by letting me see what the light could be. And to be honest, Melody looked a little bit like Rosario Dawson, and I was lucky to have such a beautiful woman like that interested in me. She was the first person to invest in my music. I moved with her to the mountains in North Carolina, way in the country like I'd never seen before. I had a fresh start than I never had in my life. She had 5 kids when I met her, but we ended up putting our heads together and finding a 6-bedroom house along with having 2 and 3 vehicles at a time. She's a corporate hustler the same way that I was a street hustler. People love her and I owe her for a lot of relationships and friends that I have now. She was so supportive of the music that she let me build a studio in one of the rooms in the house to perfect my craft. I started making beats and produced 2 mixtapes in a group with my brothers Chevy and Nell. We called ourselves Mud Mob, that's mostly us doing dirt, making our bread. I also produced and recorded R&B songs with Melody. We had some of the hottest songs in the city, but not enough money, which is part of why I went back to hustling. If I would have been more patient and confident in myself, I would have been able to make it work with the amount of music and money I was making. But the trap was calling me.
I open up my eyes, now I can see. I open up my eyes, now I can see.
up my eyes, now I can see. I thought I had to have a street. I thought I had to have a street. Till I opened up my eyes, now I can see. I thought I had to have a street. Yeah. I thought I had to have a street. I thought the trap was all I had to make my path complete. I thought that I was hungry, I know I had to eat. But that wasn't starvation, that felt, that was greed. Because I really had everything that I need. I couldn't reach for extras no matter how far I reached. But that wasn't good for me, now that I see. Think that I done to get it, none of that was me. I felt like I was going forward, when actually I was just moving backwards at a faster speed. I guess everything was happening too fast to see. I'm really falling and all this could end disastrously. How much of me would be left after I shattered to pieces? How impossible it would be to get back to completeness. Now I'm trying to gather myself, but I'm mad at myself. I lost parts of me that I couldn't get back if I needed the game. Took my warm heart and made me cold. The drugs took away from me, made me look old. The lust took my love from me, then left me alone. Crime took the time from me and took me from my home. So is the real me gone? So is no fear in me gone? Thought I had to hit the street till I opened up my eyes. I thought I had to hit the street till I opened up my eyes. Thought I had to hit the street till I opened up my eyes.
Always had an on again. Off again relationship with weed. I just can't ever smoke it like I wanna. Because I always gotta take drug tests for jobs and probation. I drank a little at the time and wasn't a fan of cocaine. But once I tried ecstasy, I was locked in. It gave me a level of confidence that I had never felt before. Euphoria made me feel like I could do anything in the world, and it took my freestyle game to another level like weed did. But it didn't stay in your system a long time like weed did. I would get on a pill and talk to anybody, anywhere that caused a problem, because it took my lust to another level and I was chasing every girl in sight. I got hooked on rolling and going to the strip club chasing strippers, which put a strain on my relationship with Melody, who was expecting me to grow up now that we had a new baby. I was too caught up in my mediocre street life to slow down, which caused us to break up. I moved back to SC with now, planning to record the greatest mixtape of all time. But we ended up partying, clashing over who was gonna pay the bills and clean up after everybody. Probably because most of us were rolling half the time and chasing girls or trapping. After a few months of that, I tried to go back and work things out with Melody for a while. But I had burned the trust that she had in me, even though I was managing a detail shop and working more than anything else. We ended up breaking up again, which I shouldn't have let happen because she was pregnant with my son.
Slay, R.I.P. Let me back. I'ma run it like a running back for you.
Hey yo, I came in here today hoping I speak in the king. I speak in the king. Hey yo, I came in here today hoping I speak in the king. I speak in the king. I came in here today hoping I speak in the kings. They'll stand up and fight and won't get beat in the ring. We might look defeated, don't believe what you're seeing until you get understanding and you can see what I mean. Because I can see the future in you. I see leaders, the people they don't hear enough truth. We need speakers. I see you make mistakes, learn from them and be teachers. The world is killing us in these choppers and street sweepers. They feed us media that brainwashes and deceives us. They try to drown us in some vodka and cheap reefer. Turn us all into pill poppers and defeat us. But we won't let none of it stop us. We street preachers and we gon' get a hood. Our gospel the streets need us. Because when things look impossible, we believers go against all of the obstacles, reach deeper. We reserve our power, not because we weaker. You might walk away from the crowd and wonder about how's it gonna come out when you see the plunder of the proud. But I can see they standing on the thunder in the clouds, and when they perish, the streets gon' lead the ones who wear the crown. Let's go.
Casey had already been coming around the shop for a few weeks. She was a young white girl that got high and was very pretty, quiet, and sneaky. I sold her some dope a couple of times and hung out with her once before I met her partner in crime, Keisha. I had just bought an old 72 Monte Carlo and was feeling myself. When my partner called my phone and told me he had somebody he wanted me to meet at the shop, I was so happy about the car. I slid the Monte Carlo in the shop like I was a boss.
not even caring who I was supposed to meet until I saw her. She was just my type. She looked just like Willie from a different world with curly black hair and even talked with the same southern accent. Once I got to know her, I realized she was the perfect mix of Angie and Melody. She was a street smart hustle with a bubbly southern charm. She ran around in ratchet flip-flops and cut off shorts most of the time. But when she wanted to, she could put on a business suit and look like a paralegal. At that time, I was trying to mess with a few girls around town and hadn't really considered Keisha as my girl. She was just a friend that I had hustled and hung out with. It all changed after my birthday. We had a wild night.
I'm just gonna go into old school style. Yeah.
Street gospel,
Sovereign.
I'm writing this story with Marcus and pen. If iron sharpens iron and a friend sharpens a friend, then I'ma use the Sharpie to sharpen cement and cut like a two-edged sword from the start to the end. He had every reason to cook whip in the pot. Anthony's plot start, says the kid living in Watts. A youngster without his real pops to look up to. And the only ones with good luck was the cook-up crew. He saw the money and he thought I cooked that good stuff too. He saw the guns and thought if I had problems I'd just shoot. His mama had a boyfriend that did push-ups too. He pushed work till he pulled up in that new 92. Drop top, all blue, ooh, look at the wheels. No wonder that he named after what he's cooking for real. Anthony looked up to him till he saw him get killed. He died being Anthony's shield on his big wheel. He saved Anthony from a drive-by on the day that they were gonna stay by the life in LA. But her boyfriend said bye to life anyway, while Anthony and his mama took a flight to the A. Anthony grew up and started hanging with them country boys. They were slanging and gang banging like them Compton boys. These boys don't play, but they got a bunch of toys. Push trucks, lift weights, they must take a bunch of roids. Anthony didn't wanna be a lame or mama's boy. He couldn't wait to get in the game, jump off the porch, but in his brain he heard the pain in his mama's voice. Now it's time for him to choose his lane. Is he gonna run the torch? Now I know everybody in the world will see me as the biggest sucker in the universe, but I know that a lot of people don't know who she really is, so I don't care. She wasn't a dirty junkie, she was a good woman and a good mother at heart. Her mom was raising her sons and all she wanted to do was get herself together to get them back. I was determined to help her get right to do that. Once I met the boys and helped buy their Christmas, I was really on a mission to do what I said I would. She could have done it on her own because her daddy gave her thousands of dollars all the time, but it made her feel good to be able to do it without any help. I felt like we did a good thing back then, but I wish I knew about foreclosures and tax liens then. I would've bought us a place to call home and a few rental properties with the money that I was making. But it was too late, because about this time it was 2008. The economy had crashed, a mean drought on dope hit and I lost my job. I was trying to leave the game alone, but I've been out of a job for months and I didn't really stack enough bread to survive. I got my income tax back, made one last flip and used the money to move Keisha to Greenville. My plan was to find a job, find a place for the baby Keisha and me, and live happily ever after, but none of that happened. We ended up living in town suites. I never found a job and Keisha had a miscarriage.